Happy Tuesday night, gang. All right. It is December. Let's see if y'all can see me and hear me, and we'll kind of get the show on the road here. So, waiting for the screen to come up. Tickety tock, tickety tock. Okay, here it comes. There I am. All right. Next question. Can y'all see me? Yes, can see me. That's good. All right. Kimberly can. That's two. Adam. All right. A few people can. There were Twin Lights, Fastball, Kathleen. Wow. Oh, this ought to be fun. There's 328 people here tonight. Everybody's odds just got a little better. Okay, good. You guys can all hear me. A bunch of that. All right. So we're going to get into the fun tonight. I want to start by letting everybody know that about a half an hour ago, we crossed our goal for the Christmas fund drive with a extremely generous donation. We are now just under, I mean, a couple of bucks under $5,800. So we crossed the $5,000 mark that we were hoping for. So we've actually raised more this year than we did last year. Uh, and of course, I've still got a few days every day, maybe a Venmo comes in or there's something in the mailbox or whatever it is. So that's still coming in. But like I said to you guys, we're going to do the shopping this weekend. I'm supposed to talk to Kitty. What is today's? I'll talk to Kitty Thursday or Friday, and then to coordinate with her on what day we can take everything. What first off, what they need, because she's supposed to find out tomorrow or Thursday, and then I'll find out either Thursday or Friday what they're short at the food bank, and we will fill in the holes. Of course, if it's like last year, and she says they're going to need a whole bunch of meat, we'll do that with gift cards because I'm not going to try to get fresh meat. But hopefully, it's a lot of stuff that we can get at the store. It's a lot more fun going shopping with everybody than it is just buying a bunch of gift cards. So uh, there is that. I will let you guys know because I know there's always a few of you guys that want to help, and believe me, right now, if we do 60%, let's just say that's $6,000. Close enough. We'll probably be there. That's $3,600 worth of food. That ain't fitting in the back of my truck, even if I bring the trailer. Okay. So we're going to need some volunteers to help out. It'll either be Saturday or Sunday this week. Usually we go sometime around 10 o'clock in the morning because it'll take us a couple hours at the store. And we're going to take it all for those of you guys in the area, take it all from 12 down to Manville. So that's kind of how they'll get about a half an hour drive there. And they'll have people there to help us unload, do all that. But I'll let you guys know after I talk to Kitty when and where we're going to meet. If you want to come help, that's great. If you got a truck, that's even better because buying stuff by the flat, if you will, what is it, 12 cans of green beans, for example. So we're not buying single stuff. So stuff we can stack as best we can. But I talking to Kitty, we have got this set up where rather than we have to take it on Monday when they do, because next Monday is when they do the distribution. And so rather than me try to do it, which it doesn't all fit in my car, and then it's trying to unload everything into the garage and making trips back and forth, I had her say, okay, they can commit to getting some people there to help us unload, and we come the day before over the weekend when people aren't at work. So, of course, it'll be cold. Every year we've done this, it's rained, so we get that too. But all I can say is to everybody, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. We will be helping people eat, be helping at shelter. 6,000 bucks. We're looking at probably 1,800 bucks to the animal shelter. That's more than we gave last year. So that's a good deal. Uh, and then right now, about 10% is where you guys fell in the survey there. So that'd be about $600 worth of gift cards for the kids, a $25 gift cards. So that's what, 24 gift cards right there that we can buy if anything else comes in. And then, of course, Mrs. B and I will kick in and finish off whatever needs to be finished off because it's not like I'm sitting there going, put that one can back. And it's just like, oh, okay, that's where we are. Fine, here, done. So, so that is that. Uh, yeah, the next bit of interesting stuff is today is the runoff, or not a runoff election, special election out in Nashville for the seat that Mark Green resigned from. And we'll see if this Jim Fruitcake, who said, I hate Nashville, running for Congress in Davidson County, which is Nashville, wins. She's losing in all the polls. Trump won the district by 22 points last time. She better not win. That's all I got to say. So, but the polls just closed. So hopefully by somewhere near the end of the live stream, I will look and see if we have a declared winner. Go from there. That was that. On this morning's video, I had a very interesting question. And of course, the person who asked it, I don't know if they're here, I'm not going to mention their name, decided to throw a shitty comment in there. He wanted to know if I was going to talk anything about the supposed second bombing of the Venezuelan drug boat that has Pete Hegseth and Admiral Bradley in all sorts of hot water about. And as he put it, he goes, "Are you going to talk about this? Yada yada yada." I doubt it. And my answer was a polite. If you want to ask the question, feel free to ask the question here in the live stream. You all know we've been doing this for 5 years. I don't shy away from any questions. Is if they're easy ones, fine. If they're uncomfortable ones, fine. If I don't know the answer, I will tell you I don't know the answer, that I'm not the best person for it, or I just don't know. But no, Mr. Brains decided he wanted to be rude with it. So I figured I'd call him out. If you want to go look at this morning's video, the very early comment, it'll be one of the first ones so you can figure out who the resident asshole is. But I wanted to explain this to him, okay, because obviously he doesn't mention it. Now, the story is that we had one of these missile attacks on one of these narcotics, and supposedly, after the boat was blown up, there were a couple of survivors in the water, and the liberals were out there saying Pete Hegseth ordered a second strike on those two survivors. The White House denied it. Hegseth denied it. Congress looked into it and came out today and said Hegseth said nothing of the sort. Okay. So it's now down to the point where Admiral Bradley, if there was a second missile sent, ordered it. Okay. So there's the first part. So we can at least take a look at that. Now, this is where it gets interesting. People say this is a violation of the Geneva Conventions. Correct. But we are not at war. Okay. Geneva Conventions apply to a combat situation. This is, if anything, a police action, different animal. Okay. Now, I want to ask you this. Anybody know these names? Horst Hannig, Paul Temme, or Wilhelm Johnhen? Anybody recognize those names? Probably not. Okay. Those were three Nazi fighter pilots during World War II who were all parachute killers. These were guys that were shoot down a bomber, shoot down a fighter jet, and as the crew or the pilot bailed out, these guys would turn their plane around and shoot the unarmed guy in his parachute as he was escaping. That is a blatant violation of the Geneva Conventions. You do not shoot somebody who's not a threat. To give you how it works in maritime law, if, for example, go back to World War II, let's say that one of the US destroyers sunk a Japanese destroyer and there were Japanese sailors swimming in the water. It is illegal for the American ship at this point to shoot at those Japanese soldiers. The correct way of doing this would be to rescue the soldiers. I mean, they're obligated by law to go rescue them if it's possible and if it would not put themselves in danger. Okay, those are the criteria. And the interrogators would love that you get prisoners because it gave us somebody to talk to and extract information from. Okay. You didn't go kill them. I can't tell you how many times I told tankers when I was training tankers, don't kill everybody. I need somebody to talk to. Okay. But in a combat situation of this sort, no, you go rescue them, you imprison them, and that's that. Where we get into this situation, there wasn't a ship nearby to go rescue these people. So they couldn't be rescued. So now you're out in the middle of the Caribbean Sea, sharks. Yeah, you ain't swimming. I'm betting those guys didn't have life preservers and flares and everything like that to shoot and say, hey, we're here. There wasn't a ship nearby to rescue them. So the choice then comes down to is what do you do? Is it more humane to hit them again? Or is it more humane to let them drown and get eaten by sharks? I'll let you make the decision on that one. Okay. Those are the kinds of decisions that have to be made. And people don't think past here. That's kind of the point to his question this morning. Am I going to talk about it? Yeah. And I bet you I just gave you a whole hell of a lot more information that you ever even thought of. Okay. And I can bet you didn't know the laws of extraction in regards to how you're supposed to handle prisoners or victims of something like this. I bet you also didn't look at the fact that this isn't a war. Call it one. Newsflash, people. We haven't had a war, a legal war. The last time Congress declared war was World War II. Just giving you that. There's a lot of legal loopholes. So jumping to conclusions, ain't look on any Congress needs to learn about that too. There you go. All right. So there are the three topics I wanted to talk about at the top of the show here. So, Storm Chasing Gal just put a link in there at seven. I'm assuming that means 7% in 65.1 to 32.7. It ain't going to be that much of a blowout by the time it's done. But all these polls that are saying it's within 2 points, yeah, I believe those polls about as much as that. I believe the one that said Joe Biden was going to win Iowa by 9. We'll see what happens with all of that. But yes, we'll John Kick. I'm pro sharks. There you go. In this case, so am I. All right. Well, let's get into some Q&A. And as you guys well know, when we do this, if you got questions for me, please put the questions in all caps. Uh, if you guys want to have conversations amongst yourselves, which you know I wholeheartedly endorse, please keep that in lowercase. That just makes it easier for me to keep the live stream going. I can find questions faster. Only rule, as per normal, is don't be a dumbass. Okay. Be polite to everybody in here. Be kind. Hell, it's Christmas season. Find some goodness in your heart. Okay. If you want to be rude, go somewhere else. Go on Twitter. There's plenty of your ilk over there that you can go complain about. But if you're going to be in here, you're going to be polite. You are going to be nice to me. You are going to be nice to everybody else in here You disagree, that is fine. If you're rude, that is not. Okay. You will just go bye-bye and we will never see you again. And it doesn't bother me a bit to do it. So, in that respect, mods, I will say tonight when we do the trivia, there is no uh, everybody can talk as much as they want because that's kind of the whole point. So there won't be any timeouts or no comments or anything like that. So don't worry about that tonight. All right, let's get into some Q and then we'll go where we are. Okay. Uh, David Husak, they know the risk that they take when they get on that boat. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. You want to smuggle drugs, you know what you're doing is highly illegal. You're out in international waters. It's not like it's been any secret that the US is blowing these boats out of the water, and you still decided to get on that boat. So you knew what risks you were taking. No sympathy. I didn't have any sympathy for him anyway. But I'm sorry, you're bringing that crap in this country. Forget it. I'm glad they're turning into fish food. Uh, Von Berger, thanks for the civics lesson. That's not necessarily that. It's just some people, like I said, run their mouth before putting their brain in gear, and I've got no problem enlightening them. Uh, Storm Chasing Gal says Clarksville's blue. Yeah, I know. I mean, Nashville's blue. It's like any other city too, but overall, what is it, 13 or 14 counties or in that district. So yeah, it's like I said, Trump won it by 22 points, even though you got blue areas. Swithers, if foreign paratroopers dropped from the sky in a surprise attack, such as in Red Dawn, could civilians legally shoot them down? Yes, that is totally different. Okay. Total different scenario. What I was talking about was a pilot of a plane whose plane got shot down, who bailed out of the plane. He is basically defenseless at this point. I'm sorry, his 1911 that he had on his hip when in World War II was you're not going to take out a fighter jet, even though back in those days they were prop planes. You're not going to take out a fighter plane with the 45 ACP. It's just not going to happen. Okay, they couldn't go anywhere. They were just drifting to the ground. They were completely defenseless. That's one thing. You get paratroopers coming in, as you said, like from the movie Red Dawn, those people are on the attack. That is totally different. Yes, at that point they are active threats, and yes, you can act actually shoot them without any fear of repercussions. Yes. Patrick King, what do I think of the leaked FDA memo that they knew the clot shot was killing children? I haven't heard much about this, so I can't really speak too much about it. I've heard bits and pieces here and there. Uh, if in fact it comes out that this is provable, then you've got serious criminal cases against people at the FDA. Anybody who was on that memo saying this is happening, if they didn't do anything to stop it, then they are now somewhat criminally liable. I'm not an attorney, okay, but yeah, if you had that information, especially the organization that you work for, and you withheld it, that's a crime. Ah, Hats 82. How about silver? What was it? The bid on it today was what 57.50 or something like that. The ask was pushing 59. Uh, yeah, I mean we're up over 100%. We doubled our money on silver this year. Granted, it's comparing it to fiat currency, which is not a prepper's intent for it. But if it turns out to be that, gee, you know what? The world doesn't ever turn to shit in our life, and we leave that on to our kids. Okay, it's a little bit more we've left on to them. And if it comes to the point where, oh boy, I need some extra money, that, I don't know, $100 that you put in the silver in January that's now worth $200 today, you're beating inflation. Okay. So, yes. So, it's nice to look at silver and gold going up here. Well, gold's kind of hovering, but silver's hitting new all-time highs. It was up again today. I was surprised. I thought every place would run, you'd have some profit taking, and it never really saw anything in the red today at all. Whoops, there, shut to the bottom. Yeah, you gotta find where I was again. Where was This is always a pain in the butt because YouTube thinks they're doing me a favor by shooting it to the bottom. They're not. Make it more difficult. All right. Sherry, Florida girl, am I still on the carnivore diet? We've answered this one for a while. Uh, we turned into keto mostly, oh, maybe 6, 7 months ago. But all things to be fair, yes, I had sweet potatoes with Thanksgiving dinner. We finally finished tonight. Yeah, for the most part, it's keto, so it's meat and vegetables. Uh, is there every once in a while the okay, sure, a piece of bread? Sure, especially right come on, turkey sandwiches with leftovers, really, you gotta pass that up. Uh, but that's also why I told you guys, a week or so, 2 days maybe, about I showed you guys an exercise program that Mrs. P and I have started. So there's the other side of it, trying to get a little of both to it. Okay. Country humans with junk silver at all-time highs, calling coin shops and they don't want to buy. So wait a minute. With junk silver at all-time highs, calling coin shops and they don't want to buy. So liquid is silver if you can't sell. Okay. Maybe the coin shop. This is again when I make the comment all the time. You guys do what you want to do. Okay. But SD bullion, JM bullion, AppMex, money metals, stuff like that, will all buy. Okay. And the big advantage to them over the coin shops is most coin shops will charge you a 10% commission. The online ones charge you a 3% commission. So you're looking at selling some silver. You're not going to get the money in hand today. It's going to be a week or so. Uh, but I'd look into that, call them up on the phone. They'll give you a bid right there on the phone. You agree to it. They send you the box. You put everything in the box, send it to them. They get it. They check it. They EFT you your funds, and you're done. I've done it. It works. It's simple. Not a big deal. Yeah, you pay 3%. Granted, the cost of the shipping comes out, but it's still cheaper than the 10% that you're paying. Coin shops aren't buying, then sell it somewhere else. 'Cause as I've said many times before, where do you think the coin shops are getting their silver and gold? They're calling JM Bullion, SD Bullion, AppMex, Money Metals, buying it from them, putting it in their store, and marking it up, and you're paying more. All you're doing is avoiding the middleman. So, but like I said, the downside is you're not going to get up tomorrow morning, take your roll of dimes with you, and lunch tomorrow, have the cash in your hand. That is, but time is money. Steve W. Do I think Trump will deport Omar or force her to step down? It's not up to Trump. That's the thing. I love, and I'm not saying you, Steve. I'm saying everybody in general, the public. It's like everything's Trump can do this. Trump can do that. It's Trump's fault. No, it's not. Okay, Trump has no authority whatsoever to deport her. That is that is Marco Rubio. The State Department would do something like that in conjunction with the Department of Justice in The DOJ would have to find her guilty of immigration fraud, and then the State Department would be the one that would revoke her naturalized citizenship, and then she would be deported. Okay. Nowhere Trump can say, Pam Bondi, I want you to do this. Marco Rubio, I want you to do this. Just because he wants something doesn't mean it's going to fly. Okay. Do I think she should have her ass tossed out of here? I'd rather be in a box. Uh, I mean, she's obviously countless pieces of fraud. She had her hand in that $1 billion worth of fraud going on in Minneapolis that we just found out about. All that money they were defrauding has been sent to a terrorist organization, Al Shabaab, in Somalia. So I mean, we've got somebody sitting in Congress who is stealing money from the U.S. government to fund terrorists. Pam Bondi, have a field day with that one. It'd be difficult. You know, why she hasn't been I don't even know what they do with this. Suspended, if it's even possible, from Congress at this point while an investigation's going on, because I mean, these are serious crimes. I have no idea. But then again, I'm not a constitutional lawyer. I don't know how that could be done. John Kiggins, what is the last thing I harvest from my garden? Usually it's my peppers. My peppers go until late October, early November, till the frost. And I mean, again, I told you it was just a couple of weeks ago that we were picking the last peppers out. That was when we were supposed to get that first cold spell. We're in the second one now. And, I went out and picked a 5-gallon bucket worth of lunchbox peppers and had so many of them, I was giving them to neighbors. But yeah, I mean, that's peppers fruit late all the way until a frost. So that's always the last crop that I've got coming in. I mean, I start picking them in July, and I'm getting them through Halloween. So, and again, I've mentioned many times, peppers is a SHTF crop you certainly want to grow because there's more vitamin C in a green pepper than there is in an orange. So, just give you that one. All right. What time is it? 8:27. I got time for a couple more. LG girl. Got to agree with you. Sharks are cheaper than missiles. That's it. Yeah. So I said 5.56 round is cheaper than a one-way ticket to Somalia too. Read between the lines if you want to. Storm chasing gal still giving us our report from the 7th district, 22% in. Van Epp, the Republican, 56.5. Bain, 41.9. It'll get a little closer than that, but it's probably not going to be much. 2% poll was bullshit. All right. Stan Brett again. I remember my stepfather telling me when the USS Palmer was sunk, he was in the water and the Japanese pilot would shoot at them during World War II. Not saying it didn't happen. I'm saying it's very illegal. And there's, like I said, I gave the one from the Nazis doing it, but I know it happened in Pacific Theater as well. Uh, it's not supposed to. The 3 Nazis that I mentioned were all tried. 2 of them were found guilty, and 1 was released on a technicality. I don't know what the technicality was. I don't know. I wasn't gonna go into it that far. But yeah, I'm not gonna disagree with you for a second, deny that one. I absolutely believe everything that your stepfather told you. All right, 8:30. Let's do trivia. Now, for those of you guys who weren't here for the last couple of years and don't understand how this is done, this is different. This is Mrs. P and I kind of giving you guys a Christmas gift. Okay, this isn't sponsored by any companies or anything like that. Mrs. P and I buy this stuff and send it to winners here by doing the trivia contest. So let me explain how the trivia works. Over the course of the last few months, I've recorded many videos. And in those videos, I've told you many things. And there's always something in there occasionally, always, something about what I've done or what Mrs. P's done or what the dogs have done or PBJ has done or something like that, my cousin, who whatever. So what I do for this is you pays attention. 'Cause my point is I want the people that win this stuff to be the people that watch the game. That's the same reason for putting in all the draw when we do the generator reviews and stuff, the state in which you live in and your favorite flower or whatever it is. That keeps the riffraff out because they don't pay attention to that stuff. They just wanna show up to the live stream and win something and then never be seen again. I want people to actually support the channel, our preppers, to win this stuff. So this is why we do it this way. So what I'm going to do, we're going to do this each Tuesday between now and Christmas. So there'll be four prizes to go this year. They're a little bigger this year because we don't have the Saturday live stream, so we did it that way. But we have four drawings each Tuesday. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask a question. And then the first person who puts the correct answer in the chat room will pick a number. And I have four slips of paper here, numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4, with four different prizes on them. And whatever number they pick is the prize that they win. There aren't any booby prizes. Everything is something that people would want. So I will give you the rules for each question because obviously they're different, but anybody is eligible for this. The mods are eligible to win this, whatever. I want to remind everybody this. Remember, you are on slow mode. You have 90 seconds. Once you put one chat in there, you have 90 seconds before you can enter again. So if you think you're going to be funny and say Snoopy, you have to wait a minute and a half before you come up with your next answer. Just want to remind everybody. Now, the other thing is, and I can't say how this works, I am the ultimate judge here. I'm the only one doing this. It'll be the first person who answers the question correctly as it shows up in the chat room on my computer. I do not know if there's any tweaks between how it looks on yours and how it looks on mine. I don't know that. I will look from the top down and find who the first person is with the correct answer. Partially correct answers are not correct answers. I'm I'm not particular about spelling, okay, unless I tell you I'm particular about spelling it. I will tell you the rules to each question as I ask them each week. So, I hope that makes it understandable for everybody here, but we're gonna do. So, let me get to the bottom, and if everybody's ready, here's the first question. This answer has 4 words in it. Your answer must have all 4 words, okay? First person to answer it picks a number. About a month ago was me and Mrs. P's 10th wedding anniversary. We went out to dinner. Mrs. P's not a drinker, but she ordered a drink. What did she order? 4 words. And I know we got a little delay here, so we'll see if about 15 seconds come in, but we will see, and I will watch. But this is all 4 words have to be correct. Janelle, does whiskey look like 4 words? Nobody's got it yet. A lot of Long Island iced teas. That's not the right answer. No. I think somebody I gotta find it. Hang on. I got to slowly go through this. This is always where it gets a little slow. Wow. No. Damn it. It shot to the bottom. This is the thing. It shoots to the bottom on me as I'm looking through. No, no. Martini's shaken, not stirred. No. So we didn't talk about martinis. Uh, oh my God. Some of you are so close. All right. Okay, you can stop answering. I see there is one person who's got it right here, but it's down at the bottom. So I want to see if there's anybody that had it ahead of them. I could would be a good guess for a Russian woman, but no, that's not what she had. Nope. There it is. Island Report V4V is the winner. It was a Jack Daniels old fashioned. A whole bunch of you said Maker's Mark old fashioned. That was me. She wanted Jack Daniels. So Island Report V4V. Somebody said up here Jack Beam old fashioned. Like, oh my God, how'd you mix those two up? So, nope, Jack Daniels old fashioned is correct. Island Report V4V. You have got the win here. So I need you to give me a number between 1 and 4. We will wait here. All right, Storm Chasing Gal, that looks a lot more what I expected to be, about an 8-point spread. Island Report V4V, where are you? We need a number 1 through 4. Hillbilly Homestead. I know I just said it a few days ago. Wasn't that hard? She wanted something, someone prepping Mimi. She wanted something to drink to do with Tennessee. Jack Daniels. Okay. A lot of you said Tennessee whiskey old fashioned. I know is a harder for those people that don't drink. This one was a little harder. That's why I was like, okay, at least everybody's heard of Jack Daniels. All right, Island Report V4V. Pick the number 3. And get the screen up so I can make sure I'm showing it to you. Here is the number 3. Let me flip over to the. There we go. There we go. Number 3. And in the package of number 3 is doink a Blue Eddy generator. Here we go. So, all right. Island Report V4V. Now I got to get back to the other screen here. You are the proud new owner of a Blue Eddy generator that is sitting right over here in the corner of my kitchen or dining room or whatever you want to call this room. If you would be so kind as to send me your name, address, and phone number, I will email generator, right? You will email me your information. I will mail this to you tomorrow. So congratulations on that. We have our first winner. So next we'll have numbers 1, number 2, and number 4 left. All right. So let's get back to. I will tell you this: all the prizes are not generators, guys. Let you know. Oh, I needed that. spent a day putting up Christmas decorations. Got some of the kitchen done. Got a bunch of Christmas cards at me that are sitting over here that I've still got to put around the doors. You guys have seen that before. So I put all your Christmas cards around the door. It always looks real pretty. Probably my favorite Christmas decoration every year is all the Christmas cards that you guys. So I thank you each and every. All right, let's get back to some Q&A. See how far up I can get. Once we were asked before. And nope. Okay, if I didn't answer your question, I can't get up that far, so I have to put the question in, right? Because I can't get up that far in the chat. Wendy Cosmo, where is the safest place to buy cryptocurrency? I'm not the greatest fan of crypto. I'd rather have gold and silver, but in all fairness, I do have a little bit. Okay. It's I have this argument with people all the time. Put all your money in gold and silver. Put all your money in crypto. You put all your money in anything, you're a fool. Put it all in stocks. Don't put it all in CDs. Don't put it all in crypto. Put it all in gold and silver. Little bit of everything. And I tell Mrs. P every time I'm looking at what we've got our savings in. It's like, oh, like yesterday, perfect example. Bitcoin took a shit. Okay. But our stocks did okay. Gold and silver did great. It muted our losses. Good. Okay. We're all right. No problem. It wasn't like, oh my God, I just lost everything in a day. But so I can't say every place. I've bought mine through Coinbase, okay, where everybody it's pretty much the biggest exchange out there. Right? Uh, my buddy Brett uses Robinhood. He likes that. I don't have any experience with it. The only place I've got any experience with is Coinbase. I've never had a problem with them. Does that mean that it's fail safe? No. Okay. But that's the best answer I can give you. I can't give you a place. The price is going to be the same wherever you get it. It's like no different if you go buy a mobile stock through Merrill Lynch or buy it through Charles Schwab. It's going to cost you the same. All right. And moving on along. Do 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 do. Bass Ackwards, thank you, Mr. and Mrs. P, for doing the fun Christmas trivia every year. You have fun with this. I mean, the thing is this: you guys are good to me. Yeah, I mean, I get paid for doing this. Okay, getting rich off of it or anything like that, but we make some money doing it. It's not like I'm surprising anybody here. But I like the fact that I can use what I do to make deals with Wellbots or Opus or Blue Eddy or Avery or whoever and get you guys deals and work something out where I can get something out to you guys as a prize. I love doing my favorite thing of the year is doing this Christmas drive. Uh, and the Christmas trivia is just a way for us to give back. You guys are good to us all year by watching the videos. It's like, okay, I want to make a little happiness under some people's trees too. You guys are really good in helping. I mean, God, we did Kerrville, we did the uh, Maui fires. We did the hurricane out here, and you guys have always stepped up to the plate. It's just our way of saying thank you to all of you. So thank you guys more than thank me. Uh, Sword 5000. I've been studying EMPs, and a strong one will even melt 14 gauge wire. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to doubt what you're finding. Okay. Uh, I've said this many times is we we don't know because there's never been one. And as much as they say, oh, it was tested in the lab and this would do this. Okay, lab conditions aren't the same as real world conditions. You know, how I mean, obviously a EMP is a nuclear blast up in the stratosphere. But is it directly above my head? Is it 500 miles to the east? Is it 500 miles to the west? You know, what's the weather going on that day? You don't know. And so, everybody talks about fairy cages. As I've said many times before, there's a 50% chance a Faraday cage works. There's a 100% chance if you don't have something that it's not gonna work, okay? So, I'd rather take the chance. Uh, I bought one of those EMP shields for my house. I can tell you right now, do not waste your money. It does not work, okay? Because twice it's fried my electricity with a lightning strike nearby. That's it. Lightning hits the ground, poof, that was it. Okay, didn't stop that. No, you know, you're not gonna stop that. I don't think you're gonna stop the electromagnetic pulse. So don't waste your money on something like that. But you know, all we can do is prepare. Nobody's gonna get it perfect. I'm just saying that. You hope what you do works, but if a Faraday cage works, cool, you got one. But like I said, if you don't have one, guaranteed it's not gonna work. So you prep for the worst and hope for the best. We all know that phrase. All right. Mini little bit. If you buy silver and it's filthy, would you wash it or does it devalue it? You're not buying it for numismatic value. Okay. If you're buying collector coins, yes, I would say do not wash it. Okay. You are buying junk silver for the silver content. So it doesn't matter if it's clean or it's dirty. The only difference is if it's dirty, somebody might not recognize it. Okay, that would be it. If it's filthy, okay, fine. If it's tarnished, I wouldn't worry about it. But no, it's not going to devalue it because the only thing you're buying the junk silver for is the silver content, not the collectability of it. Somebody said carton event EMP. Scott Boneta. I don't know what a carton event is. Okay. Let's see. Tammy K6708. I think EMP Shield will guarantee your device. Yeah. Oh, okay. Uh, if they did, fortunately, my devices were still under warranty. So, uh, here's one, what are my thoughts on the reports of vandalism of nativity scenes? All right. I'm going to give you this. A lot of you guys know I went to high school up in Michigan. That, because I obviously went to my 10th anniversary or 10th reunion last year. The area that I lived in Michigan was, for those of you guys that live up there, you know the Birmingham, Bloomfield Hills area, okay? This was it. The area at the time, I can't say if it is still because it's been 40 years back, was very it was a mix. It was Christian, Jews, and Chaldeans, okay? Whether the Chaldeans were Muslim or Christian, I do not know. I was a kid, okay? But we had the issue there every year with nativity scenes. Because they'd want to put a nativity scene on City Hall. And, oh, well, we need to put a menorah too. So that wound up a huge court battle for a couple of years. And finally, everybody said, fine, put a nativity scene up, put a menorah. And then the churches got involved. So, "Oh, we want our statue or whatever the hell put up too. And then all hell broke loose. All right. But when you get into the vandalism on nativity scenes, it depends who's doing it. Because I got a kick out of something I saw this afternoon. I don't know where this was, but I just saw the video of it, that some a mom was complaining that somebody broke into a mosque and knocked a bunch of Qurans, this was in Europe, knocked a bunch of Qurans off the bookshelf that were all scattered all over the, and outraged he was of it. And all the comments here below were, "You got some books on the floor and you're outraged." Yeah, well, your followers are out burning down churches, and that's okay. This is the problem. I'll say it, the melting pot idea is a failure, okay? I will just say it. uh, because at the beginning, everybody tried to assimilate, tried to work hard, tried to be an American. Now everybody wants to come in here. My culture this and my culture that and all this crap. Your culture is American, okay? I don't give a flying flip about how they do things in Afghanistan or how they do things in Somalia or how they do things in Israel or how they do things in Mexico. I don't care. This is how we do things in the United States, period. If you don't like it, GTFO, simply don't give me this, it's like the uproar about braids and hair. I forget what state it was. I think it was Minnesota or Pennsylvania or whatever that passed a state law that discrimination based on hairstyle was no longer allowed. That hairstyle is now a protected class. I'm like, you got kidding because of all the uproar, whether white women should wear braids or not. You know, hate to tell you this, the Nordic people wearing braids before the Africans. So suck on that one. But yeah, everybody, their culture. You want to live on a North African culture? Go move to North Africa. Okay. You want to live on a Portuguese culture? Go move to Portugal. You want to live American culture? Well, you're welcome to stay. That's it. None of this Sharia law shit. None of this Hinduism, Buddhism, anything. You're in the United States. This is it. You're free to practice your religion in your in your mosque, in your whatever. You're not doing it in the streets. You're not doing it in the airplanes. You're not doing it. No. Okay. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. My opinion, that's the way I see it. Okay. Disagree with me all you want. That's fine. Uh, yeah. So, in regards to reports on vandalism and nativity scenes, yeah, I mean, all the talk about hate crime, that's a hate crime. Okay. If there isn't, I still don't think it's a hate crime. If they want to call things hate crimes, that's a hate crime. That's an anti-Christian crime. Uh, Pennsylvania. Yeah, thank you. Like I said, I wasn't sure it was Pennsylvania. Sorry. So many damn stories trying to keep track of at the same time, and then you got questions on other stuff that I gotta go look up. It's like I laugh. "Oh, you just make a video, it takes you 10 minutes, you're done." No. No, it doesn't work that way. Tarum Y5A, why is the live stream starting over? It's not. I'm still sitting here looking at it. We are 5 minutes from the end. Unless you clicked something on your screen and went all the way back to the beginning, take a look at your slider bar at the bottom and make sure it's all the way to the right. Uh, Michigan lifestyle. Does anybody else? Yeah, I'm taking a guess you mean monkey works. Uh, you show the map of all of the United States, all the mines. So, yeah, it's crazy how many there are. I mean, what is it? Like 340 or 360? That's not, it's Texas. Okay. You know, cowboys and Mexicans. How the hell do we have 340, 360 mosques? Uh, okay, that was the bottom. That was the last thing. Oh, here we go. I'll move up. Pat McHugh, some of the stuff I missed. So close to being to buy a newer truck, half price of a brand new truck, 5 more years. I I agree with you on this, okay? And again, another one of those things where I was telling Mrs. P, I saw this an article tonight. I think it was on Zero Hedge. Some idiot going, the poverty level in the United States is $140,000. Anybody that makes under $140,000 can't survive. I'm like, who the hell are you crapping? Well, people spend $32,000 in childcare, and they've got to have 2 cars with $500 a month payments on it. And I'm looking, what was it? $1,500 a month in groceries. Is what the hell are you eating? It's like I could cut your bills in half, pretty simply. I mean, yeah, I'll agree. If you're making 30 grand, you're struggling. Okay. You're making under 50. I bet you're struggling. But all right, let's start figuring this stuff out. Again, it goes back to the stop eating DoorDash and all the junk food and start making meals from scratch. And you'd be amazed at how much, money you save and how much more you can have in the way of food when you stop buying processed crap. Or like you said, I bought a newer truck, half price of a brand new one. Yeah. I mean, when I bought my truck, it was 4 years old. It was 35 grand. Okay, fine. A new one was 75. It had 20,000 miles on it. I mean, the truck's barely broken in. It's like, okay, we're good. I'll have that truck for 15 years. Fine, no big deal. It's paid off. I'm done. Don't have to worry about it. Told Mrs. B. Said, I don't want to know what a car's going to cost the next time I got to buy. I mean, that's the first vehicle I've ever bought that I paid more than 20 grand for. Duh. All right. Okay. Dale from Ohio. Can I explain what happened at CME last Friday with silver trading? Cooler issues, banks covering short hours, no trading. What the big mover was I forget, was it JP Morgan or was it Goldman Sachs? One of the two moved all their silver trading activities, depository and everything from the United States to Singapore. And everybody, the whole market panicked, saying, "Oh my God, they see the dollar collapsing and they're getting out of the country with it before the world goes to hell." I'm not saying that it's not a possibility. Okay. We all know the dollar is hanging on by its fingernails. Uh, but that's the big issue that caused silver to just go absolutely nuts here in the last few days. Friday, because it was a day after Thanksgiving, you had light volume. A lot of people. I mean, how many of you took Friday off from work? Okay. The market's very similar. It closed at 1 o'clock, so you only had a half a day of trading. Not many people active. You go look at the volume, and it was abysmal, but that's normal for a holiday. It's kind of like Christmas Eve. The market's open, just nobody really pays attention to it. So, all right. Next exit. Tell us one of my favorite. Uh, God. Uh, I'm not a joke teller. I'm more an innuendo guy, if you haven't noticed. Um, yeah, honestly, I can't even think of a joke. I I'm not a joke person. Sorry. Let's see if I can find one more question before we call it a night. Uh, all right. Next exit, you got the other question. Do I think the IRS will ever go away? No, because somebody's still going to have to manage tax receipts, whether they are tariff receipts or whether it is income tax as we know it now, whether this idiotic idea of a national sales tax ever comes to fruition. I mean, I'll give you this one because this is apparently gaining traction again. People want the national sales tax. You do realize the national sales tax is a tax on the poor, right? Okay. Rich people aren't out buying 15 yachts a year. They're going to pay all this. That's not happening. They get on their one plane, they go fly to Germany and buy all the beer and bring it back, and that's paying tax, okay, whatever. You think about it, the low 50% of the people in the country, the bottom 50% of income people in the country pay no income tax. But like Rand Paul's out there, we need a 24% income tax. Okay, you make 50 cents in a year, you're the bottom, you gotta pay a 24% A national sales tax is a tax on the poor. It is a stupid idea. Just ask any of the Europeans and their VAT tax and how well they like that one. The tariff idea that Trump's got going on, that would work if the American corporations would have a backbone and tell the companies that are selling this stuff from China or wherever, "No, we're not tacking the price on and paying to the American. You're paying." You know, "We bought $1,000,000 worth of goods for you. It cost 1,000,001 for you to bring it in. We're giving you $1,000,000. That's it. You don't wanna do that deal, then we won't sell your product." That's how the tariff situation will work. But when the companies are beholden and go, "Fine, we'll give you the 1.1 and pass it on to the customers," then we get screwed. Yeah, that's how that needs to happen. All right, 9 o'clock. I don't know if Jason's doing his live stream, but I don't wanna step on his toes. Have a good evening, guys. Pinball out.